Uh, we'll start today's session now. So, first of all, thanks for joining Sunday session. Today we are going to see Salesforce flow, right? Kind of part two today, I think. That is what today's topic. So, ideally, this is this event, right? Salesforce community event. This event is Trailblazer Meetup. This event ideally started from fifth, from their kind of introduction, sales cloud, service cloud, all the way, right? Admin, we've seen. Now we are into Salesforce flow to this topic. So this is ideally 100% free. There is no charge at all. You can make use of it. Recording will be available in YouTube, and you can ask questions in Telegram maybe after this event as well. During the event, we do have a Q&A session that you can ask whatever doubts you have. Next, right? This is a apart from Salesforce user group Chennai, we have a co-host, right? Co-host are Salesforce Architect Group Chennai and Salesforce Admin Group Chennai and Salesforce Non-Profit User Group Chennai. Ideally, my name is Ayyappan, so I'm part of Salesforce Non-Profit User Group. Due to some reason, Anand went out, so I'm hosting this session today. Yeah, this is kind of 100 days challenge, not maybe 1 or 2 days you can learn and go, right? Not like that. It's 100 days. So weekly Saturday, Sunday, we are conducting sessions starting from uh, introduction. So what is CRM from there? Then Sales Cloud, Service Cloud, Admin. Kind of 4 weeks, I believe. Maybe 4 days we did for the admin challenges. Then we started. We given some break last week, and Saturday we started Salesforce Lightning Flow. So the Analytics challenge consists of we have three topics, right? One is ninjas, tile-based ninjas. This is for purely for learning tile in Salesforce all the way, right? Then we do have a tile-based fitness 24, meaning so here we can walk or run daily, and you can record those activities in Strava and post it. Then tile-based care corps. This is purely a kind of social cause event, and you can plan trees or any social and community event things you can do and make the community live. So this is a big challenges, and this is our roadmap. We started from fifth. Then you can make a Blackboard calendar based on your topics, interested topics or learning topics. So can, till July we have our programs. Then the event is sponsored by Demandoo. Ideally, Anand working in Demandoo and it's a technical solution manager. Then say Software also providing sponsors for this event and Intellect AI. Then Saturn Technologies and Winform. Without sponsor, right, we can't run this event. So thanks to our sponsors. Then today topic, right? So this is Salesforce Lightning Flow. I believe it's a part two. And 11:15 we have a break. Then 11:30 we'll start again. Then we have a dedicated time for Q&A. You can ask any questions here related to topic. Then here we have today's speakers, right? Saravanan Tripadi is a technical lead software solution. And we have two more speaker today. Other one is Magalakshmi V, a senior software engineer in software solution. Then we have one more speaker, Rajesh Kannan. So he is also working in software solution, software engineering. So these three people will lead the session today. So without further ado, uh, Saravanan, do you like to?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's right.
I will stop sharing.
Yeah, thank you for your intro.
Yes, Saravanan, maybe you can start from your introductions, then you can start go with the today's topic.
Yeah, Yeah, yesterday joined people know about me. So I'm a surround overall around 6 year experience in Salesforce platform. Um, quickly uh, we have go to the yesterday topic, quick recap. Then we can uh, uh, the Mahalakshmi will be presenting the auto launch flow types. Quickly, I will share my screen and yeah, yeah. Um, yeah. Flow is a such a powerful tools automation tools and no code low code solution. Admin can easily develop the flows. Yesterday we discussed a lot in the flows. Right now, I this right now uh, today's this is type of flows in Salesforce right now. Maybe future we can change the flow types. So right now we have a two types: screen flow and auto launch flow. Screen flow nothing but uh, uh, yes, user to interact with information on a screen. uh, that is a simple screen flow. Auto launch flow, uh, auto launch flow that runs in the background and does not require user interaction. That's simple. If you need a user interaction, you can go with the screen flow. uh, if you don't need if, does not require the user interaction, you can go with the auto launch flow. But we have multiple types of auto launch flow. Which auto launch flow uh, I will choose? So so that is Mahalakshmi today will uh, today's session. I hope you will learn which type I need to go. Mahalakshmi.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, yes, we can hear you.
Good morning, all. Thank you for the quick recap, Sarana. So let me share my screen. So good morning, all. Let me introduce myself. I'm Mahalakshmi. I have been working in software around 4 years. I am a 4x Salesforce certified. My areas of expertise are Flow, Apex, Lightning Web Components, and integrations. Currently, my role is a senior Salesforce developer in software. So that's all about me. So Rajesh, can you introduce about yourself?
Good morning, all. Myself, Rajesh. I have been working at Software for around 2 years. My areas of expertise are Flow, Apex, Lightning, and Component. Currently, my role is a Salesforce developer in Software. That's all about me.
Okay. So let's get into the session. Before get into the session, let's recap what we have learned in yesterday's session. So Saravanan covered the yesterday in what is flow, advantages of flow, types of flow, and detailed explanation of screen flow with many scenarios. And he explained flow's best practices. So in this session, we have planned to cover remaining types of flows. So as you all know, the types of flow are screen flow, auto launch flow, record trigger flow, schedule trigger flow, platform event trigger flow, and record trigger orchestration flow. So first we will see about auto launch flow with no trigger. So, as the name itself tells, the flow is automatically launched by something, right? So, it runs in the background. In screen flow, we have the screen element to interact with users to get inputs. But in auto launch flow, doesn't support any screens. And you all must be familiar with the concept of functions. So, in programming, the purpose of creating functions is to perform repetitive tasks, right? So, the function will take some input and will give you output after processing it. And we can call it many times from different part of code. Similarly, once we create an auto-launch flow, we can call it from multiple flows. So, we can invoke auto-launched flows from any flows using a subflow action element. We can also invoke auto launch flow from process builder, Apex class, custom buttons, REST API, flow orchestration, and even from Einstein bot also. So now let's understand the concept of auto launch flow with the help of an example. So for that, I have already logged in my org. As you all know, you can create flow in setup page, and you can create flows using this quick action button, or you can also search for flow in quick find search. I am selecting flows. So in this page you can see the flows what are you have created. So if you want to create your own list view, you can also create using this list view controls. So I have already created an auto launch flow called custom notifications. So let me open the flow. So I have selected one scenario to explain the auto launch flow. So the scenario is to send custom notifications. Uh, we may face scenario to send custom notifications in multiple flows. Instead of creating individual action in each flows, you can create an auto launch flow, and that's also a best practice. So in this flow, here I queried custom notification info. So I have already created a custom notification in my org. Uh, I will show to how to create a custom notification. In setup, search for custom notification. So here I have created a custom notification called a custom notification for desktop. So in this query, in object, I have selected a custom notification type. So I queried the created custom notification. And the next element, I have added the action. In the action, I have selected the custom. In Salesforce, we have multiple actions um, like post to chatter, submit for approval, task creation, custom notification, etc. So for this demonstration, I have selected a custom notification action. So in this flow, I have created a three variables such as notification body, notification title, and target ID. So for I have enabled available for input option for these variables so that we have passed the values of these three variables from where this auto launch flow will invoke. So in this custom notification action, I have assigned notification body, notification title, and in the custom notification type ID, I have assigned the queried custom notification ID. So here the recipient ID means which user will receive the custom notification. So it accept only collection variable. So we can send custom notification to multiple users at the same time. And I give a target ID. You can give either target ID or target reference. So target ID means if we click the custom notification where you want to navigate. For example, if I give a record ID in this target ID attribute, when we click custom notification, it will redirect to the corresponding record page. So this is the flow I have created. Now I am going to invoke this auto launch flow from screen flow. So in my org, I have already created a screen flow called account contact opportunity. So let me open this flow. So in this screen flow, I have created 3 screens to get input from user to create an account contact and opportunity. In this account screen, I am getting input account name and phone. In this contact screen, I am getting a first name and last name of contact and email. In this opportunity screen, I am getting a opportunity name, stage, and a close date. So I have assigned inputs to the account contact and opportunity record variables. I have created these variables in this like account instance, contact instance, and opportunity instance. And I have used create DM. I have used DMLs create account, contact, and opportunity. So after creation, um, I, I have I have a scenario to notify user like new opportunity is assigned to you. So to achieve this, I have used the element called subflow to call the auto launch flow. So in subflow, I have selected the created auto launch flow like custom notification. So here you have a button called open reference to flow. If we click this, it will redirect to that corresponding auto launch flow. So and here we are passing inputs to that auto launch flow. I have set a notification body as opportunity is assigned to you and notification title as new opportunity is assigned. In this scenario, I would like to notify opportunity owner. So in recipient IDs, I have assigned opportunity owner ID. So recipient IDs support collection variables only. So I have assigned opportunity ID in list using assignment element. So in the target ID, I have assigned created opportunity ID. So in the next element, I have used the action. So in yesterday's session, someone asked a question to me like how to implement a toast in ScreenFlow. So in ScreenFlow, we don't have that feature to show toast, but By using Aura component, we can achieve this. So after that custom notification, I have added a action called invoke toast. So in my org, I have created a Aura component called toast event component. So I will show that lightning. I will show that Aura component. For that, we have to go for a developer console. So in this area, you can create Apex class lightning components, and you can see the components available in this org. So I have the post event component is Aura component, and this is the file structure of that Aura component. So in the component, I have added a lightning available for flow actions. So to use this component as action in screen flow, we must add this lightning available for flow actions. So I am pausing input from flow to this Aura component, like what message we have to show in toast, and what type of variant we have to show, like success or error. This kind of information I am pausing from flow to this component. So in upcoming sessions, you will learn about Aura components. So I am just showing to how to implement toast using Aura component. So coming back to this screen flow. So I have explained the all elements in this flow. So let's execute the flow. Make sure that this flow is in active. So I have launched the screen flow in home page.
Mahalakshmi, can you share how we can create a variables? Someone asking about it.
Okay.
Yeah, creation of variables.
Okay. To create a variable in flow by using this new resource button. So in the resource type, you have to choose a variable. So we have different data types like text, record, number, currency, boolean, date and time, pick list. So in this screen flow, I am assigning uh, screen inputs to this account instance, contact instance, opportunities instance record variables. So if you want to create a record variables, you have to select the resource type as variable and the data type as record. So what type of object you have to assign. So you have to mention the object type. So I selected opportunity. So if you like to assign more than one record, then you have to check allow multiple values. If it's a single record, no need to select this checkbox. And we have an option for availability outside the flow. Available for input means if this flow is invoked from uh, any 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 flows, you have to check available for input. Then only you can pass input from where this flow will be invoked. Available for output means if you want to pass this value to in other flow, in that purpose you have to select this available for output. So that's all the variable creation. So let's demonstrate this account contact opportunity screen flow. In home page, here I have added that screen flow. So I am giving input like trailblazer. I'm hitting next. In the next screen, it shows the screen to create a contact. So I'm giving this Mahalakshmi. I'm hitting next, and this is the screen to create opportunity. I'm selecting stage as prospecting, and I'm giving April 30th close date. So once we hit save, custom notification and flow action will execute. So I am hitting next. So I think some unhandled fault has occurred. So if this unhandled fault error will it throws, you can debug in search for paused flow interviews. And this flow interviews you can switch to the all failed flow interviews. So I am opening this account contact opportunity interview. Okay, here you can see uh, contact creation is failed because of duplicates detected. So let me try with unique contact. So I am giving name as like test contact. I'm hitting next. So once we hit save, custom notification and flow action will be executed. I'm hitting next. So you can see the toast action will invoke, so the toast is shown, and as well as the custom notification also. So if we click this custom notification, it will redirect to that created opportunity, because in that flow I have set opportunity ID as a target ID. So I'm hitting this custom notification. So it's a redirect to that corresponding opportunity page. So it's we can also invoke auto launch flow using custom button. So let me demonstrate to how to invoke that auto launch flow using custom button. For that, I am going to this account page. In the buttons, links, and action section, I am hitting a new button. So I am selecting display type as detail page button. So content source, I have selected a URL. So yeah, custom notification is the auto launch flow I have created. So in the row action, click view details and versions. So in this page, you can see this flow is in active or not. What's the current active version? What type of flow? Who is activated and deactivated? Who is created and lost modified? These are the details you can view here. You can here. Here we have a URL like field. By using this URL, we can invoke this auto launch flow from this custom button. So for that, I'm just copying this the value of the URL and pasting. And if you like to pass some inputs to that flow, you have to add the question mark. And for example, in the custom notification body as a variable, I am selected this variable as available for input. So I'm just copying the API name of this variable, and you can pass the input value to that flow like this. So, or and if you like to pass value instead of hard coding this value, if you have a scenario to pass the value from the account fields, you can use this merge field feature. So, for example, if I like to pass the value of if I have scenario like if I have a scenario to pass value of account type value to that auto launch flow, in the merge field you can select that appropriate field, and that value will pass to that corresponding auto launch flow. So we have to create to invoke auto launch flow from custom button. We have to do like this. So, and we can also invoke auto launch flow from Apex. So in upcoming sessions, you will learn Apex programming. I'm just showing how to invoke auto launch flow from Apex. For that, I have already created one Apex class called invoke flow from Apex. So to in using flow.interview class, we can invoke auto launch flow. So in this class, I am invoking a custom notification. So here the for demo purpose, I am just hard coding values to the input variables. So let's execute this Apex class. To trigger this Apex class, I have used the Apex class name dot the method name. So when I am executing this line, the custom notification will execute. So for now, we don't have any active custom notifications. So I'm executing this. Here you can see the custom notification is invoked from the Apex class. So and we have more um, types. We have more ways to invoke the Autonomous flow like REST API and process builder. So you can also invoke that flow from that also. So in Autonomous flow, we have three logic elements called wait for condition, wait for amount of time, and wait until date. These logic elements only available in Autonomous flow. So wait for condition means we can pause and resume the logic based on the condition we have defined. So I'm just hitting wait for conditions. Here you can mention in what condition you have to pause the logic, and in the resume event you can mention when to resume the paused logic. And and the second one is wait for amount of time. Here the amount of time indicates how long to wait. So if we enable the resume at a specific time of day, we can define when to resume the flow. The same logic for that wait until date. We have to mention when to resume the paused event, and you have to mention the resume time as well. So due to time constraint, I haven't prepared a demo for these three elements. So lots of Salesforce document available related to this element. You can check and try hands on. And in the setup, you have searched for paused flow interviews. So in this page, you can see what are the flows are paused. You can see here, and you have a control to delete paused flows. And I have already showed failed flow interviews. In this page, you can debug why the flow is failed. Like so, that's all about auto launch flow with no trigger. So let's come back to the slide. Next, record trigger flows. As name itself it tells, this flow will execute based on the record creation, updation, or deletion. And these are some examples. Like when a new user is created, automatically assign a user to permission sets or permission set groups, queues, and groups based on specific user attributes. And another example is when a new case is created, assign the case to a specific queue based on the type of case and priority. So these are the sample examples for the record trigger flow. So now let's understand the concept of record trigger flow with the help of an example. So for that, I have created the record trigger flow called opportunity name conversion flow. I'm opening the flow. So in this flow, I have developed a logic for one scenario. The scenario is whenever opportunity is created or opportunities account is updated, add the account name in the opportunities name prefix. So in the record trigger flow, In object, I have selected the opportunity object. I am triggering this flow when opportunity is created or updated. So I have mentioned the trigger the flow when a record is created or updated selected. And I have set the entry criteria is account not equal to null because I am updating the opportunity name based on the account. So I have to check a condition like if the opportunity has account ID or not. So when to run the flow for updated records. So we have two options like every time a record is updated and meets the condition requirements, and only when a record is updated to meet the requirements. So based on the scenario, we may choose. And here I am choosing the first option. So we have two options like fast field updates and action and related records. So what are the actions we need to perform before record is insert, update or delete? We have to choose fast field updates. For example, if we need to change any field value of triggering record, or you have to validate the record before the record is committed to the database. For these scenarios, you have to choose the fast field updates. Fast field update is nothing but the before trigger event. And if any actions need to perform after the record is insert or update, we have to choose we have to choose actions and related records. In flow we don't have after delete functionality. So if I select actions and related records, we a record is deleted option is not will not be available for this record trigger flow. So in our scenario, I am updating opportunity name with the prefix of account name. So I am selected fast field updates. In that next I have used update element. So here I am selected the use the opportunity record that triggered the flow. So here I am updating opportunity name. So I have selected name field. So I have selected name field. So I have assigned a formula variable to this opportunity name. So I have already created a formula field using the new resource. I am opening opportunity conversion name formula variable. So in the formula field, I am concatenating the account name with the opportunity. So you can select these record related field values by using the resource box. Like for example, if you would like to add a account owner name to this opportunity name, in the resource you have to select opportunity. So account is a parent for this opportunity, so we can able to fetch the parent values here without doing any queries. So I'm traversing to this account fields. So owner ID. So if you have to use parent related fields in flow, you don't need to query the record. You can able to fetch up to the five levels, five levels of hierarchy. So in this scenario, we don't need this accounts owner ID. So I'm just removing. So for that opportunity name, I have assigned that created formula variable. So Next, I have added one decision and custom error element. So we can also validate records using custom add error. For example, opportunity close date should be future date when opportunity record is created. So for this scenario, you can use the custom add error. Sorry, you can use a custom error element. So for that, I have created a decision element. I gave a label as if opportunity close date is pause date. So here I have checked opportunities close date is less than current date, which means I am checking here the close date is pause date or not, and I am checking I have a scenario to check this condition only at the time of record creation. So in entry criteria, I have defined this flow will trigger when a record is created or updated. So this logic will execute for update as well. So we have to do this close state validation only at the time of record creation. So I have a create another formula resource called is new. So in flow we have a lot of formula functions like logical, text math. We have a lot of formula functions. So we have a function to check if a record is created. You can use the is new function. This formula function returns true when a record is created. So I have added this is new variable in decision. So if opportunity date is in past date and the record is create the record's creation. So if this condition paused, I have used a custom error element to throw error when opportunity close date is in past date. Like we can define where to show the error message, like at record page level or throw an error under the specific field, like you can mention. So in this scenario, I would like to mention the error under that close date field. So I am choosing second option as an inline error on a field. So in that option, I have selected the close date. So in the error message section, I can able to configure the error message like close date must be in future date at the time of creation. Like this, I have configured the error message. So this is the scenario I have covered in this flow. So let's activate and run the flow. I am activating the flow. So I have created the record trigger flow on the opportunity. So I will open this I have already opened the opportunity called test opportunity. So in this opportunity, we don't have account field. So I am choosing any one of the account for this opportunity. So here I am choosing Trailblazer as a account. So when I hit save, we have a flow to update our opportunity name with the account name, right? So when I hit save, the opportunity name will become Trailblazer hyphen test opportunity. Let's test. So, so I saved. Here you can see the opportunity name will change to account name hyphen the opportunity name. So flow will execute it successfully, and we can in that flow we have added that validation also. So let's try that scenario. So in that flow, I this validation will throw at the time of only opportunity record creation. So for that, I am cloning this opportunity. I am choosing close date as a past date and hitting save. So you can see here the close date must be in future date at the time of creation. So you can achieve this validation in validation tool itself. So for demo purpose, I have selected this an example. So in validation rule, we can't able to validate a record based on the child records. But in flow, we can do that complex validations also. So that's it before record trigger flow.
Mahalakshmi, can you go to the flow? Um,
Okay,
can you click record triggered flow? In the start element.
okay.
Can you scroll down a little? So why we have selected every time a record is updated and meets the condition requirements in this case?
Okay. So here I have put entry criteria as account ID is null false. So if we select only when a record is updated to meet the condition requirement means if the account ID uh, for that opportunity is null and when it becomes account ID is null false, then only this flow will triggered. But in opportunity, mostly we have created with an account ID, right? So if we check the account ID is null false, we may have a uh, least chance to um, least chance for that account ID field as empty, right? So we have selected every time record is updated. For I will explain with the different scenario for this at the end of the session. So shall I continue the after record trigger flow and I will uh, uh, demonstrate a scenario for this with a suitable example. For this scenario, I can't explain to differentiate. I will explain at the end of the session.
Okay, no problem. Yeah.
So next, let's see an example for after record trigger flow. So for the after record trigger flow, I have created a flow called opportunity task creation. So here I have selected a scenario like whenever opportunity is created, creating a task for opportunity owner to follow up with the customer. So that in that object I have selected opportunity object. I am triggering the flow when the record is created and I have added the condition like opportunity stage doesn't equal to closed one and we are performing this task creation only after the record is created, right? So I have here I have selected actions and related records. So in the run immediately path, I have selected a task action. So to create a task, you don't need to use a create records DML for the task creation. We have an action called a task. So I will show in the action. we have a default action called task, new task. So by using this task, you can create a task under this opportunity. So in this page, I have to assign the task to the opportunity owner. So I have assigned opportunities owner ID, and I'm giving due date as today. In the name ID, I have assigned the opportunities contact ID. So in the related record ID, I have assigned opportunity ID. So in the subject, I have assigned follow up with the customer on opportunity. So if we mentioned the name ID and the related record ID means this task will created under this opportunity and the contact as well. So in the run immediately path, we have completed the process of task creation. So in this flow, I have added the scheduled path also. So here I have selected a scenario like if this opportunity is still in open after the 10 days of opportunity creation, I would like to know, create a task for that opportunity owner to follow up with the customer. For that, in the scheduled path, I am giving a path label as after 10 days. In time source, I am selected opportunity is created. Here you can select uh, date fields of that triggering object. So in the opportunity object, we have a close date as a date field. So in this pick list option, it's showing. Based on the scenario, you can choose the time source. So in the offset number, I have set as 10 because this scheduled path will execute after the record after 10 days of record creation. So I have chosen 10 as offset number and offset option is days after. So we have more options like months after, months before, days after, days before, hours and minutes. So in the advanced, I have set the backspace as 200. So in we have a batch concept, so it's an advanced topic, and it may be covered at the time of Apex programming session. So I'm not going into this batch topic. So I have a I have a demo. I have explained the run immediately and schedule the path as well. So let's activate and run the flow. So here this flow is already in active stage. So I am running the flow. This path will execute when the opportunity record is created. So for that, I will create a new opportunity. So I am cloning this existing opportunity and create a new opportunity. I am hitting save. So here you can see at the whenever this opportunity is created, so opportunity is created. The follow-up task is created against the opportunities owner, and we have define the scheduled path as well as in this flow. So we can check if a scheduled path logic is scheduled or not. For that, we have to go in setup and search for time-based workflow, and we hit search. You can see what are the records are scheduled to flow. So here we have created a Trailblazer test opportunity task. So here that record is scheduled. So this is scheduled at April 7 and it will execute this at April 17. So our scheduled path is also working fine. So in the record trigger flow, we have covered before events, after events, and scheduled path as well. So we have to cover one more topic in this record trigger flow is asynchronous path. So I haven't created any example scenarios for asynchronous path. So let's give a brief about what is asynchronous path and when to use asynchronous path. So asynchronous means, as its name itself tells that it will run in a separate thread or separate transaction. So let's say an example. In Salesforce, you can't call external system in triggers. So if you try to call external system in triggers, it will hit an error like call out from triggers or currently not supported. Like to uh, to achieve call out in triggers, that call out must be run in a separate transaction. So for that, we can use asynchronous path. If we enable this include a run asynchronously path checkbox, will check the asynchronous path will create. So to achieve a call out in triggers, you can use this asynchronous path. So another scenario is if you may have a scenario to handle setup and non-setup objects in same transaction. So setup objects means the user profiles, permission sets. These kind of objects we are normally grouped as setup objects. Non-setup object means the Salesforce standard and custom objects. So if we want to handle both setup and non-setup objects in same transaction, it may hit an error like mixed DML exception. So to avoid this error, do a non-setup objects logic in a separate transaction and setup object logic as a separate transaction. Uh, Separate transaction means any one of the object logic we have to do in asynchronous path. So this is a brief explanation about asynchronous path. Next, in this flow, here you can see the trigger explorer. So I'm hitting the trigger explorer. So this is the trigger explorer page. So this page is used to know what are the triggers are available for this selected object. So in this session, we have created some flows for the opportunity. So it lists what are the flows available for this opportunity with grouped like fast field updates, action and related records, and run asynchronously. Like so, in this page itself, you can see the flow details and the version details. If we click this row action, uh, here itself you can redirect to the flow, and here I am hitting flow details and version. In the right side, you can see what's the active version of this flow, who modified the flow, which type of flow, and here itself you can activate and deactivate what version do you want, like. So here you can define the trigger orders as well. So for example, if you have more than one flows for opportunity after trigger, so in this actions and related records, for now we have an opportunity task creation flow only. So if we create a new flow for this opportunity, uh, that flow also will come under this section. So in this section you can see the two flows if we create a new flow for this. So we can decide which flow should execute by mentioning the order. So here we can't mention order because we have only one flow. So that's all about a record trigger flow. So after a break, we will continue the schedule trigger flow on platform event trigger flow and the record trigger orchestration flow. So back to the session. So before break, we have covered auto launch flow with no trigger and record trigger flows. So now we can see about the schedule trigger flow. Scheduled flow runs in the background at a specified time and at a repeated frequency, like daily, weekly, or once. So examples for this scheduled trigger flows, like deactivate users who haven't logged into Salesforce next days, runs weekly on Saturdays at 10 a.m. or send birthday emails to customers for those celebrating a birthday, runs daily at 9 a.m. So these are the examples for the schedule trigger flow. So let's see an example for a schedule trigger flow. I am taking the second example as a scenario. So I have I have configured the schedule trigger flow with the second example. Let's see that. So I have created a schedule trigger flow called birthday wishes. So I'm opening the flow. So in the schedule trigger flow, in the start path, we have to mention the start date and time. So I have set the frequency as today. So start date and start time means from the schedule trigger, the flow will fire after this start after the date we have mentioned in the start date and start time field. So in the frequency, we have options like once daily and weekly. So when we set frequency as once, the schedule trigger flow uh, will execute at one time. Daily means it will execute daily at the specified time, like what we mentioned in the start time. So weekly means it will be executed in weekly. So we have taken the scenario to send birthday wishes to the customers. So we have to check customers' date of birth daily. For that, I have selected daily as a frequency. So here we have to send birthday wishes to a customer. So customer means in Salesforce we have a contact object to maintain the customers. So in the object I have selected the contact. So I didn't mention any conditions to run this flow. If we have any scenario to mention a conditions, you can. But here itself we can also mention. This flow will work based on the uh, customer's birth date, right? So we can also check condition like if the contact's birth date field is empty or not. So we can mention. Hmm. So I have in the start part we defined when to start the flow, when to run the schedule trigger flow like daily, weekly, or once, and we have selected the object. So next I have added the decision element. So in the decision, I am checking if contact's birth date is uh, current date or not. Um, I have put a condition to check whether the birthday is today or not. If it's today, the birthday wishes email sent to the customer. So I have checked the condition, the record customer's birth date, like it's today. Yeah, today is their birthday or not. So in the if the decision returns true, so I have here added the action called send email. So in the body, I have added the record name. Record name means here in this context, I am added the customer's name. Customer's name. So in the recipient address list, we have to send the birthday wishes email to the customer, right? So I mentioned the customer's email in this recipient address list. So I have mentioned the subject as a birthday. So I given the necessary inputs to that email action. So you can see this flow scheduled or not. For that, in a setup, you can search for scheduled jobs. So here you can see the birthday wishes flow is scheduled and it's submitted at April 7. I have set start time as 11. So here the start time is 11. And the next scheduled run is this flow is executed will be executed daily. So the next scheduled run as April 8. So here that's all about schedule trigger flow. So here we have mentioned a contact, right? So it will check all the contact records. So So that's all about the schedule trigger flows. And I would like to share some use cases which I have faced in my projects. In our project, we have deployed screen flows to production. Some users can access the screen flow, and some users can't access. So, anyone knows why some users can access the screen flow, some users can't? Why can't? Anyone, let's try to answer this question.
Do we have any flag on user details like flow user or that is causing behind this?
Yeah, you are right. So, to access screen flow to user, we have to check two permissions. In user page, we have a flow user checkbox. You are right. I am going to that user page. So in the user detail page, we have a flow user checkbox. If this checkbox is checked, then only this user can able to run the screen flow. Uh, so I am okay. I have a scenario. If a particular user doesn't have a flow user permission, but that user can able to access the screen flow. Uh, Anyone know why even the event flow user permission is not given to that particular user? The user can able to access the screen flow. Anyone knows?
We have added the filter on lightning record page for that specific profile of the user, or is
Uh,
this the answer? Sure.
uh, no, we don't have any permission related details in Lightning pages. So, so I will tell. In the profile level, we have a permission called run flows. If the profile have a run flow permission, that profile is assigned to that particular user, then that user can able to access the screen flow. So we have to give either a run flow permission or a flow user permission in user. So if we have a scenario particular users under the particular profile can able to run the flow, in that scenario we just we just have to enable the run flow permission in the profile itself. We don't need to give each and every user details page and enable the flow user permission. So this is one of the scenario we have faced related screen flows. And one more scenario is we can. I think you may aware of that community site. Um, so if I have a scenario to use the screen flows in the community site. So and that community site will run as a guest user contacts mode. So and users using the community site doesn't need to have a user in org. So if guest users giving some inputs to that community page, they are it hits an error it hit an error. So because that guest user's profile doesn't have any appropriate object and record level permissions, so the flow used in that community site hitting an error. So anyone knows how to solve this issue? without without editing or giving any additional access to that guest user profile. We can simply solve. So anyone knows any better solution for this? Even try. So in screen flows, in the show advanced settings, we have the option like how to run the flow. So here we have three options like user or system context with sharing, system context without sharing. So what this means, if this flow runs in user context means this flow will checks for example in this screen flow I am creating account contact and opportunity, but the user who is running this flow doesn't have object permission in account and contact and opportunity. If we select how to run the flow in user context, it will hit an error like you don't have an appropriate object permission to create something. So if we choose a user context, it will um, check object permissions and it checks a record level and it checks a record level as well. If we choose a system context with sharing means if we select this option, this flow doesn't check object and fee level permissions, but it checks record level access. I think you may aware of that record level access. Maybe in the previous sessions they have covered the sharing settings, sharing rules like so. If we defined any sharing access to that running user, the here the if, for example if we queried some if any records, the user uh, the user's access to records can queried and returned in this flow results. So this is the system context with sharing. System context without sharing means so it doesn't check any object and sharing settings. It will run in the admin context like so. In we have used the screen flows in community site. So because the profile doesn't have a appropriate object and record permissions, so we hit an error like the permissions and inappropriate permissions. Like to solve that issue, we have set that run flow as a system context without sharing. So by setting this option, we avoided that permission issues in community site. So you can define how to run the flow for this screen flow. So this is one of the advanced topic, and so for screen flows, we have one more row actions available in the list like edit access. So we can define. So here itself it shows by default users with any of the following permissions can run this flow. So run flow permissions in the profile or permission set, or a flow user in the user record can able to access the screen flows. If you would like to override this default behavior, for example, you have a scenario to access the screen flow so only for the particular profile, you can override this default behavior, and you can give access to that particular profile uh, to give access to that on the selected profile members. So it's one of advanced additional topic. And in setup we have a option called process automation settings. So the first option is the default workflow user. So this default workflow user means when we are executing scheduled paths logic, it runs in the background, right? So when we define default workflow user, that scheduled logics will execute in this user context. So that's here defined. The default workflow is required for scheduled paths in record trigger flow and time dependent actions in workflows. So the default workflow user always runs scheduled trigger flows. So the schedule related logics will run as this default workflow user context. And so let user pause flows, let's users resume flows. So these related stuffs I have explained in the auto launch flow. We have a wait elements to pause flows, and we have a uh, resume option to pause the to resume the paused events. So with this permission only we can do that pause and resume the events. And so if you if you may face a scenario to your flow will works fine for one user context, but that flow will fail for that for different for other users. So as a developer or admin, to debug this scenario, uh, we have to check that flow in that different user context, right? So in the process automation settings, we have an option like let's admin debug flow as other users. So if this checkbox is checked, we can debug a flow as other user. I will show a demo how to debug flows different users point of view. So in the flow, we have a debug button. So here we have an option called run flow as another user. If we check this checkbox, uh, we can able to debug this flow as different users. So we can easily troubleshoot the flow errors in different users context. And if you are running the flow at the runtime, the flow will hit any error. That error, the flow will send an error email. So the flow will send an error email to user who last modified the flow will receive that error email. Otherwise, we can define Apex exception email recipients. So in a setup, we have a Apex exception email recipients. In that, we can add which users will receive the flow error emails from the organization. Like we can define. So these are all some of the main points I would like to add in the process automation settings section. So, so I have covered from my side. So let's hand over to the remaining types of flows to Rajesh.
Okay, let's we continue the session. We can see the platform event trigger flow. Before going into the platform event trigger flow, uh, we want to know about the platform event. Platform event are the part of the Salesforce enterprise messaging platform. The platform provides a event-driven messaging architecture to enable apps to communicate inside and outside of Salesforce. Platform events are event messages that you app send and receive to take further actions. They simply the process of communicating changes and responding to them without writing complex logic. Publishers and subscribers communicate with each other through the events. One or more subscribers can listen to the same event and carry out the actions. When we publish a event, the flow will act as the subscriber and the platform event trigger flow gets triggered, and what are the logic we can do into the inside that platform event trigger flow. First we can see how to create the platform event. For the demo I have taken a scenario. We have receiving some messages from the web application is publishing a event, and we getting the notification, and we post that message to the chatter group. This is the scenario I am taking to explain platform event. For that we need a platform event to receive the message. So I have already created a custom platform event. Notification is the my platform event, and I have created the two extra custom fields, message and source. And I need a chatter group to receive the message from the external application. Here I already created the chatter group as my team, and already there are two members in the group. Now the platform event also we have, and the chatter group also we have. We can see the flow I have created for that demo. Here I just chosen as the platform event trigger flow. and that choosing that trading platform event as the notification. Here we can get the standard. We have some standard event also, the AI prediction event and patch apex error platform event. When the patch runs any error occurs, this event will be fired. And we have many other standard platform event also. Now I am just choosing notification platform event. When when the event get the message, I need to post into the chatter group. So I have the post to chatter action. In the action, I have just chosen that post to chatter action, and I have assigning that triggering record message and in the message variable, and I am giving the target name as the chatter group. For here, I am using that label. I just have taken that chatter group ID, and I already created the custom label. I have created the my team custom variable, and the value is the chatter group ID. Here I just assigning that chatter group ID. We can take the label from global variables, and now I want to publish the message from the external application. Here I don't have that external application, so I'm just passing my message from that developer console. So here I'm just passing this event through event bus. I'm just passing a message as a hi trailblazer, and the source as the Salesforce. Now I'm just publish this message. What we are expecting is we that message hi trailblazer want to post in this chatter group. We don't have any messages here. Now I'm going to publish this event. Now I can refresh the arc. Here we can see that message hi trailblazer as a new message we just received now. This way we can use the platform event to pass any inputs through from external system or any other Salesforce features. We can subscribe that platform events from the LWC and Apex also, and we can pass any values from platform event, and we just subscribe to that platform event. We can use that values when that platform event going to publish.
In this scenario, Salesforce is both the subscriber and publisher, right?
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
uh, we want to consider some points. uh, a flow can receive a batch of event messages at once up to a maximum of 2000 event messages, and if the platform event triggered flows past flow introduce or subscribe to the same platform event, we cannot guarantee which one process each event when the message first get published. And the debug logs for the platform event triggered flows are appear under the automated process user. It will launch under the automated process user when it's fired. And we have the orchestration record triggered flow. In here we have the two types: auto launched orchestration and record triggered flow orchestration. Uh, Here we can give the initial triggering point to that orchestration flow, and we can auto launch the auto launch the orchestration flow by the Apex or STAPs or any other process. We can, without user interaction also, we can launch that background process of the orchestration flow. In the orchestration flow, we can create the multiple steps to process that interact with the users, and we can create a behind running business process, and we can assign the different scenarios to the different users. When any stage will be completed, we can show some UI to that recorded users. Here in the orchestration flow, the building blocks are stages and steps and flows. We can define how many stages also. In the stages, we can have steps. The steps are grouped into stages and can be run sequentially or simultaneously. User participation is the necessary during interactive steps in the steps. If there is no user engagement necessary for background processes. If you need the user engagement, we can have screen flows. We can call any auto launch flows and screen flows from orchestration flow. Whenever we record the user interaction, we can call the screen flows, and whenever we need that back back-end processing, we can call the auto launch first from the orchestration flow. As I show that, I am taking a scenario uh, for the explain the orchestration flow. I have the two objects. One object is the bank account and another one is the transaction. When the user come into the bank, we want to create a transaction record under that persons, and each transaction is going to done by that user. We want to want to show some screen to the cashier for the transaction done by that user. So for that I already have created that two objects, bank account and transaction. Now I need a user interaction for cashier. So I have created the screen flow. In the screen flow I have just added that the cashier going to enter that amount and the transaction date here. Here we can give many input data. We have many input data types. We can use any data type inside by using, if we drag and put inside this data type inside that canvas, we can use that data type input element in the screen flow. Now we just need the amount data type and date and time data type to receive the data from the cashier. Now we have that user interaction screen. Now we want to stage our process by orchestration flow. Here I'm just choosing the record trigger orchestration flow. Uh, Here I am want to give the triggering point when I am going to get this trigger, when the user going to come under the bank. So that time we want to create the transaction record. So when the bank account record is going to create, I have to trigger that orchestration flow. So I'm just choosing bank account and I'm choosing as the record is created or update. For my scenario, I am just choosing for this. I don't going to keep any entry condition, so I'm just leaving as none. In orchestration flow, we just have these two elements only, stage and decision. Under stage, we have three different things to interact with our business logic. Here is the background step. In the background step, we can just call the auto launch flows. If we have any auto launch flow here, that will show under the action. For now, we not having any back end process. I am just going to show that transaction detail screen to the cashier. So I am just interacting step. That MuleSoft step is for the some integration stuff. We don't going to see that this in this session. We can cover this later. Here's a label for I'm just doing cashier. Cashier screen. Here I am just leaving as the when the stage starts, the step starts. We have another three condition also. Here the when the another step is marked as completed, the step starts, and when the specified requirements are met, the step starts. And we have when the step specified evolution flow returns true, the step starts. We are just going to choose the when the stage start, the step starts as the initial. And here in the action, I am just going to call that I have already created the screen flow to the screen flow for that cashier. So I'm just going to call the create transaction record in the action. Here I am going to pass the bank account ID. Here I have already created the input variable for this flow. How to this is the bank account ID is the already created variable. Here I choose as the data type as the text, and I just given for the available for the input. If we give available for the input, just imagine that flow was the function, and in the function we can have that parameters to pass. This input, if we choose as the available for input, just that these are the parameters when we call that function we want to pass. If we going to return something from that function, we will use the return statement to return the any any values we going to return from the function. We can give us the available for the output. We can create that variables and pass from that flow also. We can pass some scenarios. We can call some auto launch flows from any place. Like example, we can call the auto launch flow from the Apex class, and that auto launch flow is going to return some value, and we going to use that value after the flow finishing. We going to use that value inside our Apex class. We can give us we can use that variable, the variable marked as available for output. So mm, I have already created the bank account ID. Why I am just passing this bank account ID? Because I want to look up the transaction under that user. So mm, this bank account ID is the lookup field. I want to look up with that user. I will get that that orchestration flow is going to triggered by that account creation. When the user will come, a transaction account will going to create it, and that time in that we can get that account ID from the orchestration flow itself. I will show that. Here in the global variables, the bank account ID we can get from the record. Here we can get as the account period values also. If in the initial condition we can give us the update, we can get that record period value also. If we going to create a record, we don't have the prior values for the fields. If we going to update the records, already there is the value in the fields. We are changes some fields. So in some cases we need the prior values to compare with the new values and do some logic. So flow is providing prior values also for update only. In the create we don't have the prior value. So here we don't need the prior values. I just need that current value. The current value we can get from the record, and here we can see some other stuff also. The user who triggered that context, we can get that user details from the users. Here we can get the user time zone and everything about the user. And in the previous flow demo, we have used that label. We can have the label also here. And we have the flow. In the flow form, we can get current date and current date time and some other stuffs we can get from the flow. And we have other thing also. You can refer through the documents provided by Salesforce and you can learn everything from there. Here I am just need a record ID, so I am going to take that record ID and the assignee type we can choose user or groups or queue. You have already have seen the group and queues stuff. Here I'm just going to assign to that cashier. That cashier only going to see that screen. So I am choosing that user. I have already created a user as the Rohan. So I'm going to choose this user only going to see that screen, and none other than the users in the are going not going to see that screen. And here that select where to complete the action. This is for where in which place we going to show that screen. I am just going to show that screen in the account detail page. So here I am just queuing that bank account record ID. And here I am going that condition step when the assigned user has completed the screen flow, the step is marked as complete. And here also we have another true condition also. When the specific requirements are met, the step is marked as completed, and when the specified evolution flow returns true, the step is marked as completed. Now I am just queuing is the when the assigned user has completed the screen flow, the step is marked as completed. Now this if we have any other extra logic, we can after interacting with the user, we can decide on to which process want to this logic want to flow. For that purpose, we want to compare anything. We can use the decision element. and inside the decision element we can create multiple steps also. We can create how many steps, and these steps want to only visible to some set of users, and another step of stage is want to visible onto another set of users. We can decide here I am not need this and that. I am just going to create a transaction record only. If you need, we can include the another stages also. Now I'm doing just going to save this flow. I'm just saving that flow and activating the flow. So this is the flow I have already created for the demo purpose. Uh, this is the same steps I have created in that flow also. Now to create a bank account record, here I am going to create a bank account record by the user Saravanan. I just have that name field alone for this record. I'm just giving the name as Yas. Now the account record is created. Now our orchestration flow get triggered, and we have that orchestration work guide to show the screen interaction. This is the work guide. We want to track and put inside that where we want to show that interaction elements. So here I already have tracked the work guide inside that detail page. Here we have that flow orchestration work guide. We just simply want to tag and put inside that detail page. After we can put that worker inside, we can save and activate that changes to that arc. Here, if we want to use the screen element, we want to put the flow and we want to refer that screen flow inside, and we can get that screen flow on that wherever we need. We can use the flow element, we can call that screen flow. So now I have assigned the whenever the account going to create, the screen want to show to that user Rohan only, not to any other users. Now I am going to log in as the user as Rohan. I am just logging as the Rohan user. Now you can see I have logged in as the Rohan. Now I want to see that interaction screen inside that account record detail page. Here we can see that record yes. Here we can see that screen amount and transaction date. Before we log in as the user as the Saravanan, we don't see any fields under the work guide. Now if we are entered as the 2000 is the amount yours is going to transact, and the transaction date is April 7. If I click the next, the transaction record is going to create. You can see any other transaction record is there. We just have one. That also linked with the Karthi, not with yours. Uh, Now the cashier is going to enter amount. Now the action is done by Rohan. Uh, no more the screen going to visible for the Rohan, and the transaction record is also created. And this is the record we have created by that orchestration flow. We have just entered the amount as the 200 and the transaction days as April 7, and this transaction is linked with YAS, and we can uh, monitor these changes done by orchestration flow. By the orchestration run, we can search in the app launcher orchestration run and the orchestration work items. If we see the orchestration runs, we can see what are the stages have completed. If we have the we can have the multiple stages inside that orchestration flow. Here we just completed that transaction screen. The status is completed, and we can see the work items. The work items are assigned for Rohan Kumar. What is the context record is the yes, and the status is completed. We can monitor the work item also in the orchestration work items list view. For seeing this list view, we need the permission for the orchestration flows. Yeah. Somebody asked to repeat the scenario of the orchestration flow. I just taken the simple scenario. Uh, when an account is going to create, we just need to create a transaction record, and you want to assign that if we going to bank, we going to create an account, we will deposit some initial amount to the bank by the cashier. If the bank there are many cashiers have, but we will see in which queue there is there some people are standing, and we will stand in that queue and going to deposit the amount to the that cashier only. So I just taken that scenario, and we want in here we want to just show what the user we have assigned for this record. So I am showed that transaction screen to the particular cashier. So this is the scenario.
So Rajesh, we have used orchestration flow because we need to run flows on different user contexts,